You're famous because your daddy's famous.
Quiz, man. Stop hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King.
T.I. had finally had enough when D.L. Hughley went on record saying that T.I.'s son, King Harris, was headed straight for prison. The King of the South didn't let that slide for a second. He didn't laugh it off. He didn't drop a slick post or throw shade online. Nah, he stepped up and confronted D.L. face to face like a man. What started as a casual celebrity opinion exploded into a full-on showdown about fatherhood, pride, and what it really means to raise a son under the spotlight. This wasn't just about King Harris getting into trouble. This was about family honor, about how far a father will go to defend his child's name when the world's watching every move. T.I. made it clear that respect runs deep, and when it comes to his son, he's not backing down for anybody. Let's be real. You've seen the headlines. You've seen the clips all over your feed. King Harris, the son of T.I. and Tiny, has been trending for all the wrong reasons lately. From heated arguments with fans to wild run-ins with the police, King's been moving like he's got a point to prove. Even with all the fame, money, and luxury around him, he's been acting like someone still fighting for street validation. People online keep saying he's acting hood when he's never lived that life, that he's trying too hard to fit an image. Most people talk for clicks, chasing views and viral moments, but when D.L. Hughley spoke on King Harris, it hit different. Because D.L. isn't just a gossip commentator, he's known for dropping hard truths wrapped as life lessons. So when he said King Harris might end up in prison if he kept going down this path, it didn't sound like shade. It sounded like a warning, almost like a prophecy. But that's exactly what set T.I. off. The King of the South doesn't play when it comes to his family. Say what you want about his career, his drama, or his past mistakes. One thing that's always been clear is that T.I.'s a father before anything else. So when he heard D.L., another black man, another father, another public voice, speaking on his son like that in front of millions, T.I. felt it deep, pure disrespect. In T.E.'s eyes, D.L. could have handled it differently. He could have called him up man to man and said, "Hey bro, I'm worried about your boy." He could have kept it private, out the spotlight. But instead, D.L. dropped those words publicly for the world to eat up. And to T.I., that was crossing a serious line. When they finally came face to face, it wasn't some calm studio chat or press conference. It was raw, unfiltered, and real. T.I. told him straight up, "Don't ever speak on my son like that again." He made it clear, "You don't know what goes on in my house, and you don't know what kind of father I am." Witnesses say D.L. tried to stay calm, saying, "I didn't mean no disrespect, Tip. I just said what everybody's thinking, your boy's wilding out." But T.I. wasn't having it. He wasn't about to let another man publicly judge his parenting or his son. Not now, not ever. T.I. fired back with heat. "Everybody might be thinking it, but not everybody's saying it. You said it because you wanted clicks. You said it because you old and need a headline." That's when the whole vibe flipped. The tension shot through the roof. Because this wasn't just a celebrity spat anymore. It was bigger. It was generational. It was fatherhood crashing headfirst into public opinion. A clash of pride, pain, and image all playing out in real time. Now let's rewind for a second. King Harris has been under fire for years, and not for his music. From flashing stacks of cash online to arguing with randoms in public, King's been building the wrong kind of reputation. Every time he goes viral, it's not for a hit single or a business move. It's for another controversy. The internet's got him pegged as the spoiled rich kid, someone born into luxury but trying hard to act like he's from the struggle. And it's not just King catching the heat. People keep dragging his parents too. Every headline turns into shade toward T.I. and Tiny. They say things like, "That's what happens when you raise a kid in fame," or "That's what happens when parents chase the spotlight more than discipline." It got ugly fast, and through it all, T.I. mostly stayed quiet, letting people talk, letting them speculate, until D.L. Hughley stepped in. Now, to be fair, D.L. didn't see himself as taking shots, not from his own words. On his podcast, he explained that he wasn't trying to disrespect T.I. or King. He said he was speaking from experience, saying, "I've seen what happens when young men get too comfortable playing tough. It never ends well." He meant it like a lesson. But T.I. didn't hear wisdom that day. He heard warning shots aimed straight at his family's name. D.L. didn't hold back when he said it. "I love T.I., but if he doesn't check his son, that boy's headed for jail. Or worse." To D.L., that was tough love. But to T.I., that hit like a low blow straight to the heart. For a man who fought his way out of the streets, who clawed his way from the bottom to become a legend, those words cut deep. T.I. felt that wasn't just a critique. It was a shot at his fatherhood, his pride, his entire journey.
Why did I bring that up? Because PMG, you know, he did that same thing that Lil King doing.
T.I. snapped back with fire. He said, "You don't get to talk about my son's destiny. That's between me, God, and my boy." He wasn't about to let anyone, especially another public figure, speak a curse over his child's future. That's when things exploded, shifting from simple commentary to a full-blown confrontation right in front of everyone. What most people don't realize is that there's history between these two. T.I. and DL have always kept a respectful tone in public, but they were never tight like that. They came up in completely different lanes. T.I., the trap legend who built his empire off raw stories from the streets, and DL, the comedian turned social commentator known for calling out hypocrisy and bad behavior. When DL talks, he's used to being that wise uncle voice of reason, the man who tells uncomfortable truths. But when you speak on another man's child, especially in the South, you're stepping on something sacred, pride. And for T.I., pride isn't just ego, it's legacy. He spent years trying to rebuild his image, from rapper to father, husband, businessman, and activist. So when DL made that comment, it didn't just question King's actions, it challenged everything T.I. had become. Witnesses say the moment turned tense fast, voices rose, energy shifted, and T.I. got heated, barking, "You think you're better than me?" T.I. clapped back hard, saying, "You sit behind a mic judging my family. My son ain't perfect, but he's learning. Don't judge him before he grows." He wasn't backing down, not even a little. But DL reportedly stood his ground, firing back, "If you don't want the public talking, keep your son out the public eye. You raised him in front of the camera. Now you mad people got opinions?" That line hit like a punch to the gut, because truth be told, there was some reality in it. T.I. and Tiny had built their brand around their home life. Their reality show, T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, gave fans an inside look at their world. Every laugh, every argument, every milestone. Viewers literally watched King grow up on TV, his confidence, his humor, his big personality, and yes, his attitude too. So when he started acting up in real life, those same fans who once adored him turned into critics overnight. And that's what DL was trying to point out. Fame is a double-edged sword. But for T.I., this wasn't about logic. It was about loyalty. He fired back saying, "You don't correct my son on camera. You talk to me first." That's what real men do. His voice carried that fatherly rage, that protective instinct that says, "I can talk about my kid, but you can't." Meanwhile, social media blew up, divided right down the middle. Some folks sided with DL, saying he was only speaking facts. One comment read, "DL just said what we all see. King's heading down a dangerous path." Another chimed in, "It's not hate, it's warning. He's seen it before." But others rode for T.I., saying, "Nah, that's crossing the line. You don't talk about another man's kid, period." T.I. finally broke his silence on Instagram, and he let it all out. He said, "Y'all love to talk about my son, but ain't nobody offering help. Y'all want to see him crash out. But guess what? I won't let that happen." His message was raw, emotional, and straight from the heart. He wasn't just defending King, he was defending every father, trying to guide their kid through a world that's quick to judge but slow to help. He went on saying, "You don't raise a young man in front of the world without mistakes. I made mine, now he's making his. That's how we learn." But it was one line in particular that broke the internet and got everyone talking. "I ain't scared of what my son's becoming. I'm scared of how the world treats black boys who make mistakes." That hit deep. Suddenly, the whole tone shifted. This wasn't just about King Harris or DL Hughley anymore. It became a bigger conversation about race, fame, and the pressure that comes with growing up under the spotlight. T.I.'s words pulled the curtain back on something real. The fear that one bad headline could ruin a young man's future forever. And just when people thought the fire would keep burning, DL came back calm, collected, and surprisingly respectful. He said, "I understand T.I.'s emotions. I defend my kids too. But the truth is still the truth. Fame don't raise discipline, and I want King to win." He doubled down that it wasn't about hate, it was about warning. DL said, "If you're in this business long enough, you see what happens to young men with too much attention and not enough grounding. I hope he proves me wrong." That moment changed everything. It wasn't beef anymore. It was two fathers standing on opposite sides of the same pain. T.I. wanted to protect his son from the world. DL wanted to protect him from himself. And at the center of it all was King Harris, still trying to find his own identity while the world watched his every move. Eventually, King spoke up himself, posting online, I don't care what none of y'all old dudes gotta say, I'm living my life. That post lit social media on fire, proving the story was far from over. Later on, King doubled back and showed a more humble side, saying, I know I gotta grow up. I know I got eyes on me, but I ain't no criminal. I'm just young. That moment changed everything. Fans started softening up, realizing that behind all the noise and controversy, King is just 19, a kid trying to figure out life in real time. Except unlike most teenagers, he's doing it with cameras in his face, critics waiting to pounce, and his own father forced to defend him in front of millions. Sources close to the situation say T.I. and DL eventually had a private conversation behind the scenes. The two reportedly agreed to disagree, but with mutual respect. T.I. told him, next time, just hit my line first. And DL replied, fair enough. But don't take it personal when I speak truth. That was the turning point. Two grown men realizing this wasn't about ego, it was about perspective. And honestly, both had valid points. T.I. was right. You don't bring another man's child into public commentary without sensitivity. That's off limits. But DL wasn't wrong either. Actions come with consequences, and fame doesn't shield you from accountability. That clash between truth and pride is exactly what made this whole situation hit so deep. Because this wasn't just a celebrity feud, it was a real reflection of parenting in public, about how social media magnifies every little mistake, how people love to judge before they understand. T.I. later posted something that really summed it all up. He wrote, I come from the trap, I did time, I changed my life. All I want is for my son to learn without losing himself. Y'all pray for him instead of judging. Since then, King's been keeping things quiet. No more viral meltdowns, no more wild headlines. He's been locking in on his music, showing the world he's not just T.I.'s son, he's his own man with his own grind and his own story to tell. And whether D.L. Hughley was right or wrong, maybe his words ended up lighting a spark, because sometimes being doubted is the best motivation there is. T.I.'s still in the background, watching closely, guiding from a distance, and protecting in his own way. In a recent post, he said, I ain't raising no angel, but I ain't raising no statistic either. My son gon' make it. And if you know T.I., then you know that's not just talk. That's a promise backed by pride, pain, and purpose. So maybe this whole situation was never really about beef. Maybe it was about perspective. You've got a comedian speaking his truth, a father defending his family, and a young man trying to find himself while the whole world watches his every move. Because let's be real, fame comes with a microscope, and every mistake hits harder when the cameras never turn off. At the end of the day, headlines fade, gossip disappears, but how you raise your child, that's forever. The lessons, the love, and the legacy, that's what truly lasts. So what do you think? Was DL wrong for calling out King Harris, or was he just keeping it real? And did T.I. handle it the right way, or did his emotions take the lead? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Because this is FameWhisp, where the stories get louder, the truth cuts deeper, and the next one's always wilder. See you in the next one.